The galaxy had been quiet for years. Peace talks, trade deals, and joint missions filled the news. Humans and many alien races worked together in space stations and on colonies. Everyone believed war was behind them. But things changed suddenly. The sky over the neutral planet Vari turned red without warning. Explosions appeared across the upper atmosphere. Giant unknown ships came out of warp, firing without speaking. They didn't answer any calls. They just attacked. Inside Kirin 4, a human-led deep space station above Vari, alarms rang loudly. Lieutenant Rian Voss, a brave human officer, jumped from his sleeping pod. Red lights flashed across the walls. He quickly put on his black combat uniform and grabbed his emergency bag. Unknown fleet. Unknown. Approaching fast, the AI voice repeated. Rian moved fast. Who attacks a peaceful planet? He muttered. He rushed to the shuttle bay. Ships around him launched one after another. He jumped into his rescue craft and flew straight toward Vahri. Fire and smoke filled the skies. On the ground, chaos ruled. The Teleyari, an alien race known for peace and spiritual culture, ran for safety. They wore flowing robes, not armor. They had temples, not weapons. They were not soldiers. Among them was Zaina, a young Teleyari girl. She had glowing blue skin, silver white hair, and soft shining eyes. She was hiding inside a ruined temple, holding something tight to her chest, a small round capsule glowing gently. Her heart pounded. She had no weapon, no power, no backup. Just the capsule. Her father, the high speaker, had died moments ago, pushing her into the hidden passage. Protect it, he had said, no matter what happens. But now she was alone. The enemy was close. Footsteps crunched outside. Her back pressed against the cracked wall. Her long fingers tightened around the capsule. Then, boom! A blast broke through the temple ceiling. Dust flew. Zaina was thrown back. The capsule rolled across the floor, and, from the sky, something dropped down. A human. Rian landed hard, flames bursting from his jetpack. He looked around quickly, gun ready, helmet scanning the area. He spotted the girl and froze. His helmet HUD showed strange readings. Life form, injured, vital signs low. She looked scared, but not dangerous. He stepped forward, kneeling. Beside her, Zaina tried to sit up, but her arm was injured. Easy, he said softly. I'm here to help. She didn't understand all his words, but she felt his energy, strong, warm, not like the cold ones who attacked. Then her eyes went wide. She pointed at the capsule. It was pulsing. Rian picked it up. What is this? He asked. Zaina whispered one word. Life. He stared at the capsule. It wasn't metal. It was organic, glowing from inside. It gave off soft heat. Another explosion rocked the ground. No time to ask questions. Rian gently lifted Zaina with one arm, grabbed the capsule with the other, and fired up his jetpack. They blasted into the air, dodging debris, heading back to the shuttle. Back in space, inside the rescue bay of Kirin 4, medics rushed to help. Zaina was placed on a bed. Machines scanned her body. One nurse said, multiple injuries, but stable. Meanwhile, Rian stood nearby holding the capsule. A science officer scanned it. His face went pale. Sir, this isn't a weapon, it's biological. What does that mean? Rian asked. The officer replied slowly. It has a heartbeat. Rian stared. Alive? Yes. But not alien. Not fully. Zaina, lying, weakly opened her eyes. Her voice was quiet. It's not just mine, it's yours too. Rian blinked. What? But before she could say more, her head fell back. She was unconscious again. Rian looked down at the capsule in his hands. It glowed softly, as if it heard her voice. Lieutenant Rian Voss stood in the quiet medical bay of Kirin 4, still holding the strange glowing capsule. The room was calm now, but his heart was not. The sounds of war were far below them on the planet Vari, But the weight in his hands felt just as urgent. The alien girl, Zaina, was unconscious on the bed. Medics had wrapped her wounds. Her glowing blue skin was pale now and her chest rose slowly with each breath. Machines beeped around her. Ryan couldn't stop looking at the capsule. The surface was smooth and warm. It glowed from the inside, like soft moonlight. The scans showed it had a tiny beating heart, too small for an adult, too developed for a pet. The science officer had whispered, "It's something new." And then Zaina had said the words still echoing in his mind. "It's not just mine. It's yours too." He didn't understand. Was she confused? Was it some alien belief? But the facts were real. Inside that capsule was a life. "Lieutenant Voss," said Commander Lena Hart as she entered the bay. Her sharp green eyes landed on the capsule. "You brought back something unusual," she said. "Yes, ma'am," Ryan replied. "What do we know?" "The girl is Telyari," he explained. "She's not trained for war, but she was protecting this with everything she had." Hart crossed her arms. "And this thing reacts to her?" "It's not a thing," he said. "It's alive." She raised an eyebrow. "Alien offspring?" Ryan looked at her carefully. "The readings don't match full Telyari DNA. It's partially human." Silence filled the room. "That's impossible," she said. "I agree," he replied. "But the DNA scan says otherwise. It has human genes. Some of them match me." Hart frowned. "You've never been to Vari before. You've never seen this girl. So how is this child connected to you?" Ryan didn't have an answer, but deep down a strange feeling was growing inside him, like he knew, not with logic but with instinct. A few hours later, Zaina woke up. Her eyes fluttered open slowly. She looked around the room, frightened, until she saw Ryan. He stepped forward. "You're safe. We're in orbit. The attackers haven't reached this station." Zaina's voice was weak. "The capsule, is it okay?" Ryan nodded and placed it gently next to her. She touched it carefully like a mother touches her baby. "I need you to explain," he said softly. "You told me this child is also mine. That's not possible." Zaina looked up at him. "Not normal way." She struggled with English. She used her hands to show shapes and circles. "Our kinds not match," she said. "Your seed, my egg, not grow inside me." She pointed to the capsule. "So, machine womb, built for this." Now Ryan understood a little. She was saying their biology wasn't compatible. A Telyari and a human couldn't naturally create life together. So, her people or someone had used technology to combine their cells. The result grew in a portable artificial womb, Zaina added. "He is Hope, first of kind." "Who made this?" Ryan asked. "Your people?" She looked away. "My father, High Speaker, he used ancient tech, hidden, forbidden by council." Ryan's eyes widened. "Why?" She explained slowly. "The Telyari elders believed different species should not mix blood. It was sacred law. Her father broke that law by using old machines from before the Great Peace. He believed the future needed change, needed unity, and he chose Ryan." "Why me?" Ryan whispered. Zaina looked at him deeply. "Because you saved our world once." Suddenly, he remembered. Years ago, during a deadly plague, he had delivered vaccines to a Telyari outpost. He hadn't known names, just followed orders. Zaina's father had been there. He had watched from the shadows as the human risked his life. "He," said, Zaina whispered, "that human has the heart of peace." Ryan sat down, his mind spinning. This child was created, not by accident, but by belief. But now the child was in danger. If the Council of Elders found out, they would destroy it. If the attackers, whoever they were, discovered it, they might use it for war or study. Ryan stood up. "We need to hide this child." Zaina nodded. "Please, protect him." He turned to the medics. Keep this womb under level 1 security. No one touches it without my command. Yes, sir. As he walked out of the bay, he felt something new growing in him. Not just duty, something personal. The war outside was big. But this was bigger. This was about the future of 2 species. And Ryan was now part of it. The halls of Kirin 4 felt colder the next day. Lieutenant Rian Voss had barely slept. His mind kept returning to the capsule in the medical bay, glowing gently, pulsing with life. It wasn't just an alien artifact anymore. It was a living symbol, a child born of 2 worlds, human and Teliari. And now danger was growing fast. The Teliari Council had just sent a transmission. They wanted to speak. Urgently. In the command chamber, Rian stood with Commander Lena Hart as the hologram formed in the air. 5 tall figures in ceremonial robes appeared. Their skin glowed in different shades of blue, their faces sharp and stern. In the center stood Speaker Dralin, the head of the council. Commander Hart, he said in a cold voice, and Lieutenant Voss. We received your message, Hart replied carefully. Dralin's eyes narrowed. You have something that belongs to us. Hart glanced at Ryan. We rescued a young female from your planet, Ryan said calmly. She was carrying a living capsule. Unnatural creation, the speaker interrupted. Made in violation of our sacred law. Hart asked, You're saying it's dangerous? We're saying it must be destroyed. Ryan's eyes flashed with anger. You want to destroy a child? It is not a child. It is an abomination, Dralin said. Our people do not accept mixing blood. Your human cells are too violent. Too wild, Ryan stepped forward. But it lives. It breathes. It has a heart. That does not make it right, Dralin snapped. Commander Hart remained quiet, but her hands were folded tight behind her back. Why now? She asked. Why send soldiers to burn your own cities? Dralin hesitated, then said, Not our soldiers, rebels, those loyal to the High Speaker's dream, and those who wish to stop it. The room fell silent. It was now clear. The war wasn't started by outsiders. The Teliari were fighting each other. Back in the medical bay, Zaina sat beside the capsule, still weak but alert. The glow of the capsule made her face shine softly. She looked up as Ryan entered. They know, he said quietly. Her lips tightened. They want him gone. Yes. Your council calls it unnatural. A mistake. Zaina's fingers slid across the capsule's warm shell. My father believed he was a seed of peace, born not in flesh, but in hope. Ryan sat down beside her. They said it has my DNA, but I don't remember ever. Zaina nodded. They took your sample years ago during Plague Mission, quietly, with honor. He blinked. Without my consent? She lowered her eyes. Forgive me. But if we asked, you would have said no. He couldn't deny it. Back then, he wouldn't have believed in such things. But now he felt protective. The life inside, that pod was part of him, part of her, and bigger than both. Outside the bay, Commander Hart paced. 2 paths lay ahead. She could return the capsule and girl to the Teliari Council, ending a potential political crisis. Or she could protect them. But that might mean going against orders. Against treaties. Then came the call from Earth Command. A deep male voice echoed in the chamber. Commander Hart, we've reviewed the Council's complaint. You are ordered to hand over the Teliari female in the capsule. Hart remained still. Even if it leads to her death? The alliance must hold. We can't afford a cultural war, the voice replied. Her jaw tightened. I understand, she said, but her heart did not. Later that night, 2 soldiers entered the medical bay. We're here to take the alien and the capsule, one said, coldly. Zaina's eyes widened. Rian stepped between them. You have no right. Orders from above. Ryan stood tall. I outrank both of you. This capsule is under my protection until further notice." The two soldiers looked unsure. Then, a third figure entered, Commander Hart herself. She looked at Ryan for a long moment, then said, "Stand down, men. Lieutenant Voss is correct." The soldiers hesitated, then turned and left. Ryan stared at Hart in surprise. She stepped close and whispered, "You have 12 hours. After that, I won't be able to protect any of you." Zaina looked at them both. "We must leave. Hide him." Ryan nodded. "Where?" she whispered. "There's a planet, hidden. My father built a sanctuary. For him. For us." Hart nodded slowly. "Take the shuttle. Use an unmarked ID. Go now." Ryan looked at her. "You're risking everything," Hart replied. "Sometimes the right thing isn't written in orders." He gripped her hand once, firmly, then turned to Zaina. "Let's go." She clutched the capsule, and together, they ran toward the shuttle bay. Outside the station windows, stars moved silently, but in that moment 2 lives had chosen a new path, not of war, but of hope. The engines of the unmarked shuttle roared softly as it slipped away from Kirin 4. Inside, Lieutenant Rian Voss sat in the pilot seat, jaw tense, eyes on the starfield ahead. He flew without lights, no ID, no beacon. Time was running out. Behind him, Zaina sat quietly, strapped in and holding the capsule close to her chest. The artificial womb glowed gently, pulsing with a soft heartbeat from within. "Do you think they'll chase us?" she asked quietly. Ryan shook his head. "They'll search, but the cloaking field your father described might buy us time." Zaina didn't reply. She looked down at the capsule in her arms. The child inside was developing fast. They entered the edge of a star system that didn't appear on human maps. Strange radiation lines glowed across the dark, as if warning the uninvited. "Here it is," Zaina said. "This is the Eliera system. It's hidden. No trade routes, no satellites. The Council erased it centuries ago." "But your father kept it alive," Ryan murmured, guiding the ship into the gravity field of a green-blue planet. The planet below was breathtaking. Vast, silver rivers, mountains floating in slow motion, trees that shimmered under the light of twin suns. "It's beautiful," Rian whispered. "No one has lived here in generations," Zaina said. "It was kept pure for him." The shuttle landed beside a massive ancient stone dome, part temple, part machine. Thick vines wrapped around its columns. The architecture pulsed with soft light, as if it sensed them arriving. As soon as Zaina stepped outside, the doors slid open silently. The sanctuary had been waiting. Inside, the walls lit up in smooth blue rings. A medical cradle rose from the center of the room. The energy cradle emitted a low hum, ready to receive the capsule. Zaina placed it carefully in the center. Immediately, the sanctuary connected with it, monitoring, protecting, feeding. The capsule pulsed brighter. For the first time in days, Ryan exhaled deeply. "He's safe," Zaina whispered. But Ryan's face remained serious, for now. They stayed in the sanctuary, repairing systems and strengthening the outer shields. Zaina adjusted the ancient code of the medical AI, ensuring the growth process remained stable. Rian set traps around the outer valley and covered the shuttle with brush and camouflage netting. Every night they sat together in silence, watching the capsule gently glow in the darkness. One night, as Ryan stared at the flickering flame of their small campfire, he finally spoke. "You were ready to face death for this child." Zaina looked at him. "So were you." He nodded. "He's not just DNA. He's more than either of us." Zaina placed her hand on the capsule. "He's hope." By the 4th day, something changed. Inside the capsule, tiny fingers twitched. His body was taking shape quickly. Arms, legs, a formed head. His heart beat louder, steady and strong. The machines beeped in calm rhythm. A soft halo of light circled the womb cradle. Zaina stared in awe. The planet is accelerating his growth. The systems here, they're designed to help him develop faster than normal. Ryan leaned in, watching the baby turn slightly in the fluid. He's already stronger than either of us. Suddenly a sharp beep broke the peace. Ryan snapped toward the console. Zaina ran to the terminal. A red warning light flashed on the wall. Distortion field breach. Scan probe detected. Zaina's face went pale. Someone's outside the cloaking field. Ryan's voice dropped. The council, she whispered. They found us. Back in the cradle, the baby turned again, calm, unaware of the storm gathering above. Zaina touched the glass softly. You're not ready yet. Ryan loaded his weapon. Then we'll make sure they don't get close. Ryan stood in the center of the sanctuary, staring at the glowing capsule as it floated gently above the platform. Small lines of light moved across its surface, like veins full of energy. The artificial womb responded to the sanctuary systems, as if they were made for each other. Zaina stood nearby, her hands folded. Her eyes were calm, but Ryan could see the weight she carried. This is the safest place in the galaxy, she whispered. The cradle can hold him until he's ready to grow. Ryan didn't answer at first. He watched the readings on the nearby panel. Oxygen, heart rate, cell division. Everything showed life inside. A real child, not a machine. A child created from him and her. Over the next few days, Ryan and Zaina lived inside the sanctuary. The world outside was silent. No warships, no transmissions, no satellites. Just birds, breeze, and stars above. Zaina explored the temple while Ryan repaired the shuttle, setting traps around the perimeter. They didn't know how long the council would take to track them, but they had to be ready. At night, they sat near the cradle and talked. Zaina explained more about her father's vision, how he believed the galaxy needed something stronger than alliances. Something living that connected worlds. A child of two peoples. A living bridge. But your council calls it forbidden, Ryan said. They fear change, Zaina replied. They say love must follow the laws of the body. Ryan looked at her, but love doesn't care about rules. She blinked, then smiled faintly. You understand more than most. On the fourth day, something changed. The capsule began to glow brighter than before. The sanctuary lights responded, forming a soft ring of energy around it. The air shimmered with static. Ryan jumped up. What's happening? Zaina ran to the control panel. Her fingers moved fast across the symbols. The growth cycle is accelerating. The system recognizes the planet. It's adapting. Inside the capsule, the small form was clearer now. Tiny arms, legs, a head. The child was still too young, but no longer just cells. It looked almost ready to wake up. Zaina gasped. The environment is helping him grow faster. Ryan stared. How long until he's born? She swallowed. Maybe 3 days. Ryan's mind raced. 3 days until the first human Telyari hybrid would take his first breath. But also, 3 days until they'd be found. Because somewhere out there, the council had not stopped searching. That night, Zaina couldn't sleep. She stood outside, looking up at the twin moons. The wind moved her silver-white hair. Ryan joined her, sitting beside her on the stone steps. She spoke first. Do you regret it? What? This child, this fight, running from your people. From mine? Ryan shook his head. No, I don't regret it. I just don't understand it all yet. She looked at him, her voice soft. You were never supposed to be a father. He smiled slightly. I didn't plan it, but neither did you. She laughed quietly. No, but I don't feel fear. Not with you here. They sat silently under the stars for a while. 2 soldiers, 2 fugitives, 2 parents. Inside the sanctuary, the capsule pulsed again. But this time, something was different. The lights flickered. One of the outer sensors blinked red. Then came a warning tone from the console. Zaina and Ryan ran back inside. He checked the screen. Motion, From orbit, a small probe. Scanning. Zaina's face turned pale. The council found the planet. Rian's jaw clenched. Then we don't have long. They looked at the capsule together. It glowed. Warm. Alive. Unaware of the storm approaching. They had just 3 days. 3 days. To protect him. The air over Eliara had always been quiet. Until now. A low humming noise filled the forest. Trees trembled. Birds flew away. The wind seemed to stop. Above the sky, something shimmered, like a crack in space. They were coming. Inside the sanctuary, Ryan stood beside the capsule, staring at the red blinking screen on the control panel. 4 ships, he said quietly. They broke through the cloaking field. Zaina's hands shook as she adjusted the energy cradle holding the artificial womb. How much time? Hours, maybe less. They're moving slow, probably scanning the planet first. She looked down at the capsule. The baby inside had grown so much in just a few days. Tiny fingers. A small, beating heart. It floated peacefully in blue light. He's not ready yet, she whispered. Rian's jaw tightened. Then we make sure they don't reach him. Ryan ran to the shuttle and grabbed weapons. A plasma rifle, EMP grenades, a field shield. Not much, but better than nothing. He returned to Zaina, who had activated the sanctuary's old defense barrier. A glowing blue dome formed over the cradle. It'll hold for a while, she said, voice trembling. But not forever. Ryan stepped close to her. You stay here. Keep him safe. I'll handle the rest. Zaina grabbed his arm. Don't go alone. If they catch you, they'll destroy him if I don't stop them. She didn't argue. She simply nodded and handed him a small disc. Take this. It's a signal disruptor. If their scanners go blind, they'll hesitate. He took it, squeezed her hand once and left. In the jungle outside, Ryan moved like a shadow. The wind carried the sound of engines now. He spotted lights through the trees, a small alien shuttle touching down on a clearing half a kilometer away. 5 figures stepped out, Telyari soldiers. Tall, blue-skinned, armored, but not just any soldiers. They wore the robes of temple guards, personal, agents of the council. That meant they were not here to talk. They were here to erase the child. Rian ducked behind a tree and activated the signal disruptor. The device blinked green. Nearby, the guards' helmets began to spark. One of them growled in frustration, hitting the side of his helmet. It worked, for now. But they kept moving, toward the sanctuary. Back at the temple, Zaina adjusted the cradle's settings. The baby's vitals were strong but still not stable. Suddenly, the lights dimmed. The AI voice echoed softly. Energy shields 80%. She placed her hand on the capsule. Please, just hold on. In the forest, Ryan stepped into the open and fired his plasma rifle. The first guard was hit in the chest. His armor crackled and he collapsed. The others turned fast, yelling, something in their own language. Rian ducked, rolled, and tossed an EMP grenade. It exploded with a flash. 2 guards dropped, twitching as their suits shut down. Only one remained. He was larger, stronger, with glowing red eyes. He moved fast, closing the distance. Ryan fired again, missed. The Telyari warrior punched him hard in the stomach, knocking him back against a tree. Ryan gasped for air, blood in his mouth. But then, he spotted the warrior's power pack. Ryan lunged, pulled his knife and jammed it into the pack. Sparks exploded. The alien screamed and collapsed. Silence returned. Ryan wiped the blood from his lip. Not today, he muttered. But it wasn't over. His wrist console beeped. Another ship was approaching. Larger. He limped back toward the sanctuary as fast as he could. Inside, Zaina cried out, "Ryan!" He stumbled in, bruised and bleeding. They sent more, he said. 1 big ship. Maybe a gunship. The sanctuary lights turned red. A deep alarm echoed through the halls. Zaina helped Rian lie, down, then rushed to the panel. "They're charging weapons," she said. Rian looked at the capsule. The child glowed peacefully, unaware. "We can't move him," she said. "I know." He struggled to his feet. "Then we stand." They activated the last shield level. A golden field surrounded the room. Outside, the gunship hovered above the jungle, weapons glowing. Inside, two beings stood together. A human soldier, an alien girl, and between them, a life that could change the galaxy. The sky above Eliara turned red as the Council's gunship hovered like a dark moon. Its engines roared low and deep. Below, trees bent under the pressure of its thrusters. Birds had long vanished. The world held its breath. Inside the sanctuary, the walls trembled. Ryan stood at the entrance with his plasma rifle ready. His uniform was torn, and his left arm hung heavy with pain, but he didn't care. Behind him, Zaina was working as fast as she could, fingers flying across glowing blue panels. "The final defense shield is at 30%, she called out. "How long until he's ready?" Ryan asked, not taking his eyes off the door. She looked at the artificial womb. The capsule now pulsed with a deeper light. Inside it, the child floated gently, his tiny body more formed than ever. His arms had grown. His eyes were closed. A small heartbeat echoed steadily. "He's close," Zaina whispered. "He just needs time." But they didn't have it. Outside, the gunship opened its cargo bay. Two council guards stepped out, followed by a third figure. He wore golden robes. His eyes were pale, his face cold. "Speaker Drellin, move in," he ordered. "This ends now." The guards activated handheld disruptors, weapons that could tear through energy fields. Zaina stared at the sensors. "They're approaching the temple door." Ryan exhaled slowly. "We hold them here." "No," Zaina said suddenly. "You go to the cradle. He needs you more. I'm not leaving you to fight alone." "I'm not going to fight," she said, turning toward him. "I'm going to talk. One last time." Rian's eyes widened. "Zaina." But she was already walking toward the entrance. The ancient stone doors opened slowly. Zaina stepped out, her hands raised. The guards lifted their weapons, but Drellin motioned for them to wait. "Daughter of the traitor," he said, voice sharp. "Stand aside." She stood tall, her silver-white hair blew in the wind. "This child is not a threat. He is a disease," Drellin hissed. "He was never meant to exist." "Yet he does," Zaina said calmly. "And he has done nothing but live." Drellin stepped forward. "If you loved your people, you would not have hidden this." "I do love them," she said. "Enough to fight for something better." "You think mixing blood will save us? You're wrong. It will destroy us." Zaina's voice grew louder. "You say that because you fear losing control." Drellin raised his hand, and the guards pointed their disruptors at her. Inside, Ryan's hands were shaking as he stood beside the cradle. The capsule blinked red now. The child inside moved. His tiny fingers curled for the first time. Then, a sound. Not loud, not sharp, but clear. A cry, not of pain, but of life. The machines around the cradle lit up. Blue waves of energy pulsed from the capsule. The sound traveled through the temple, through the forest, and into the sky. Outside, the guards froze. Drellin's hand trembled. He felt it. Not just the cry, but something else. A pressure, a presence. Zaina turned toward the temple. "He's awake." The golden energy dome around the sanctuary shimmered, then changed. Instead of breaking, it expanded, gently, like a protective bubble. The trees stopped swaying. The wind returned. The air felt different. Inside the cradle, the capsule slowly opened. A soft hiss escaped as the fluid drained. Ryan's heart pounded. He stepped closer. There he was, tiny, glowing faint blue, smooth skin like Zaina's, but eyes slowly opening, brown like Ryan's. The child looked at him, didn't cry, didn't scream, just stared. Ryan's voice cracked. "Hey." Little one. Zaina entered, breathless, eyes wide, and froze when she saw him. Alive, real, and looking at both of them. Outside, Dralin dropped his weapon. Something inside him broke. Not from fear, but from truth. He fell to his knees. This was not supposed to happen. But it had. Zaina reached into the cradle and gently lifted the baby into her arms. He was warm, light, his small fingers wrapped around hers. She looked at Ryan. He knows us. Ryan placed his hand over the baby's tiny chest. The heartbeat was strong. The future had arrived. The baby lay quietly in Zaina's arms. His small chest rose and fell with gentle breaths. His skin shimmered softly in the temple light. Neither fully human nor fully Telyari, but something new, something beautiful. Ryan stood beside her, looking down at the child. His heart felt strange, full and heavy at the same time. He had never imagined being a father, especially not like this. But when the child looked at him again, something clicked deep inside him. This was real, and it was worth everything. Outside, the sanctuary, the forest remained silent. The council gunship hovered above, unmoving. And below it, Speaker Drachlin was still on his knees. His guards stood confused, unsure of what to do. They had come expecting violence. Instead, they had heard a cry, a small sound yet powerful enough to stop weapons, to stop hate, to stop centuries of fear. Dralin slowly stood up. His eyes looked up at the glowing dome around the sanctuary. He had never felt such warmth before. And then, without a word, he walked away. The guards followed. The gunship turned and disappeared into the clouds. The council had made its decision. They would not stop this. They couldn't, because something greater than laws had just been born. Back inside the sanctuary, Zaina sat on the floor with the baby in her lap. She sang softly in her native language, a lullaby her mother once sang to her. Ryan sat across from her, watching every movement. "What will we call him?" he asked quietly. Zaina smiled. "He deserves a name that honors both sides." Ryan thought for a moment, then said, "What does peace mean in your language?" She replied, "Selun." He nodded. "Then his name is Selen Voss." "Selen Voss," she whispered, looking into her son's eyes. "Child of two worlds." In the days that followed, the sanctuary became home. The ancient systems adjusted to the baby's needs. Cradles opened. Lights softened. A medical pod scanned him daily and reported strong growth. Selen smiled more. He reached out to both of them now. Zaina taught Ryan how to hold him properly. Ryan taught Zaina how to build a basic shield generator. They were learning to be parents and partners. No more running, no more hiding, just living. One evening, a small drone arrived. It carried no weapons, only a message from Commander Lena Hart. The recording played in Ryan's hand. "The council has backed off. No further action will be taken. I don't know what happened down there, but whatever it was, it worked. The child is no longer hunted. The alliance remains intact. As for you, Ryan, your record shows missing during battle. I suggest you stay that way. For now. Live your life. Protect what matters. That's an order. From an old friend." Ryan smiled. They were free. On the 6th day, Zaina brought Ryan to the hill overlooking the valley. She carried Selen, bundled in a soft wrap. The wind was cool, the stars above clear and bright. "This planet is untouched," she said. "No cities, no weapons, just life." He nodded. "It's the perfect place to raise a child." She looked at him. "Do you ever miss your old world?" He thought for a moment, then looked at her, then at Selen. "No," he said. "My world is right here." As night fell, the sanctuary lights glowed in the distance. Inside its walls slept the first child of a new future, a symbol of unity, created not by nature, but by hope. Zaina and Rian sat quietly, arms wrapped around each other, Saloon between them. The war had ended, the chase was over, and a new chapter had begun. In the heart of the stars, on a world no one knew, a human, an alien, and their son watched the dawn rise. Together,